YouTubers.
Good morning. First day back to work.
Ah, jeez, you had to bring that up, didn't you?
Had to ruin it.
Anyway, we have a guy, or we have one fella on that asked me a question, and I gave it some thought, and I said, you know what, it's a legitimate question. And his name is Pie Man. And he's the fella that solely named me the Mod Father.
Nice, I like it.
Yeah. He's been calling me that for a long time, the Mod Father. So he asked me, Pie Man apparently is a motorcyclist. And he watches our videos because of the motorcycle portions of it. But he started to watch the tractor videos. And a couple of questions that he had, he said, well, how do you make the thing go forward and reverse? I don't see your hands moving. You know, or can you show like the different controls and what they do in the cab of the tractor? Which is really a good idea, because there's a lot of people out there who's never been in a tractor. And so that's what we're going to do next. We're going to take the camera. The tractor is warming up there now because I just had to do the driveway again. And I'll just show you around, just introduce you to the different things within the cab. And that way you can have an idea when you're watching the videos on your TV or your computer that you know how to operate it. So now you can be sitting in your living room and you can be going with your feet and your hands and everything and acting just... Right? And anybody looks at you, you can just say, well, I got a cramp, I got to go to the washroom.
Well, you better go.
Yeah, that's right. It looks like you need it.
Looks bad.
Yeah. The other thing. Oh, of course, this was a question that you asked, or you thought it was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. A lot of people, when they're posting comments, you only need to do it for this video, if you'll do it at all. You can post where you're from. Now, I don't mean like complete address or anything. I'm just saying like Boston, Massachusetts. Now, if you're in England, don't put down Boston, Massachusetts.
No.
You know, put down exactly where you're to, you know. But it's really interesting because we have them from Australia, from New Zealand, we have them from the Netherlands, we have them from, well, so many in the US.
So many, we can't think of them all.
Even Canadian ones. We you know, they're all over the place, right?
But some were doing it, and it was fascinating. It was nice to see.
It's really nice to see.
Yeah. That
That way you get to see how far your tentacles spread out, right? You know, like...
You got to go to the bathroom?
Not yet.
Okay, should we go now?
Yeah, it's not 10:15 yet.
You have a schedule, do you?
Oh, a very tight schedule. Anyway, so I'm going to take the camera now, and we'll go out aboard the 5740. Starting to snow a little bit. And we'll have a look around and just show you exactly how things work. You'll probably be surprised of what you see. She didn't want to be on camera, folks. So you know I got to break the rules.
What? It did.
Let's get aboard the tractor. This is probably a different view with this camera. And turn on the radio here. Okay. Now, let's have a look around. First of all, we'll start off at the top. Up here in the roof, there's the radio. There's the mixture for the hot and cold. That's for the different areas where you can blow the wind around and the heat around. AC switch, and that's your fan. Right here, here's your reverse lights, or your back lights over the cab, your front lights over the cab, rear wiper, front wiper. This is an extra switch, an auxiliary switch that I had because I had a light, an LED light up in the front that's not there anymore, so I'm going to use that for a future mod. And this is your rear defroster. A lot of these Canadian tractors had rear defrosts in them. Some of the mirrors, like this one here, I added them other two because it's nice to have visibility. So we'll start from the top here and we'll just work our way down. There is a cab light here that opens that comes on when you open the door. Now, if you don't want it to come on, hang on folks, you can turn it off. When you open the door now, it won't come on, or you can turn it on and leave it on. So that's that there. Over here, there's a switch, and that's, if you look at our light bar in the back, there's actually a big LED light behind it, and that's what operates the light. I have speakers in the back, and they're infinity speakers. They sound quite nice. Now we'll move back down. The tractor has this little square box. That little square box is a sensor for the windshield. And what it does is, if anything hits the windshield like a liquid, water, snow, it will automatically cycle the wiper until it don't detect any more moisture, and then it stops. It just goes back and parks. Now down here there is a switch, and the reason why that switch was off, say for instance this was outdoors and I never had that switch and it stayed on, as soon as you started up, if there was any snow on the window, you could tear up the wiper blade or the linkage, because it would automatically detect the snow on the windshield. So you turn it off when it's not snowing or when you're parking it for the night, and that way it don't premature start up and tear your wiper blade off. What else? Okay, over here we have a 7-inch LCD colored monitor. It's an infrared system. There's a camera on the back. You can hook up the 3 cameras in this, but I have a particular, well, just one camera right now. So it's color in the daytime. In the nighttime, it switches over to infrared. Then it's black and white. But you can turn off every light in the tractor and still see perfectly behind you. So it has some advantages. These tractors don't come with a volt gauge, so I put in a volt gauge. It also don't come with an ambient air temperature, which tells you the outside temperature. There a minute ago you saw it flash in ice because it was getting down to 0, which is the freezing point of water. But that's 0 degrees Celsius, the same as 0 degrees Fahrenheit. There is an antenna that runs that just up on the corner of the cab on a little mast. GoPro mounts when we're doing the in-cab videos. There's one there. There's also one there, and sometimes I change them around. Right here you'll see this light flashing. You'll also see one flashing there. Why are they there? It's because they are to remind me that the park brake's on. The problem with these tractors is they only come with this little park light on in the dash. With the steering wheel and everything going on, and especially in the daytime, you might not even notice that being there, and a lot of people drive off with their park brake on. So what I did is I put these external ones on, and they really get your attention. So now when I put my foot on the brake, take my park brake off, I'm just going to push down and see what happens. They flick off. So when I want to reset my park brake again, I push down and I pull up this lever, and it's reset again, so the park brake is on. The tractor has what they call a HST Plus transmission. What I like about the HST, this is really the selling point of the tractor for me, is down here you have low, medium, and high range. Okay? In a normal tractor, you have low, medium, and high, but you just put it in high, and you would only have one gear in high. HST stands for hydrostatic transmission, so it's all hydraulically done. There's no shifting clutches or shifting gears. But when you see this lever here, well, that changes the equation. That's what starts to make things look interesting. Because right now, I have it in high gear, and if you look down there, there's a bunny rabbit or a hare on the dash. So when I switch this, so in other words, I have 2 gears or 2 ranges in each range down here. So I keep it in high, say for now, and then when I'm traveling, I can shift. Okay? I can shift from high to low just by here. Well, not really low, but say it ends up being high to medium range. That's what it works out to be. And I can do that, of course, in all ranges down here. It's a great feature. It's fantastic, actually. It's one of my favorite features of these tractors. Now, it has a HST mode switch. You can have a fast or slow response for your HST by operating this switch here, this knob, or you can change things over. If you look here, it's got stall guard. What is stall guard? Stall guard is when you're operating, say, with a bucket or a snow blower, and you're backing, say for instance you're backing into a pile of snow with a snow blower. You don't have that on. It's quite possible that the engine can become overwhelmed with all the power that's being drained from the PTO, and it could stall the tractor. Or if you were digging out a pile of dirt and you were working her too hard, it's quite possible to stall the engine. Well, stall guard will automatically assure you or look after the RPM management, so it will not let the tractor stall. You can put her in that mode too as well. You got this auto HDS. Well, what that is, remember I was telling you about this here? Well, what that does with the auto one, say for instance I'm traveling up the road, I will not have to look after this lever anymore. She will automatically shift from that high range to the next lower range automatically. Say for instance if I had to go up a hill, it will look after all of that, so that's pretty cool too. Or you can just turn it all off by hitting that switch. You can have one or the other. So you have the stall guard on, you got the auto on, or you got both of it off. So that takes care of that. Now, travel speed. What does that do? Well, all that does is just give you some information. Up here we have PTO showing. Well, I'm going to hit travel speed. So there you go. Miles per hour. Let's see. Kilometers per hour. Now I'm hitting the display now. PTO is off. If I turned on my PTO here now, you will see a change. There you go. So we have 202 RPM. Now that snowblower back there, that operates efficiently at 540. So I would just step up my throttle here and bring it up. Keep going till I got up to 540. Don't need to do that now because we're not using the snowblower. Just to give you some idea. So I keep hitting that display mode switch right there, and you'll get hours. So this tractor has 337.1 hours on it. You can see the coolant temperature, and you can see how much fuel is in the tank. Let's see here now. The H is high range, so I put it in medium, or I could put it down in neutral, and then of course low. But I really need to have it moving to get it in low. So you can see that there as well. So yeah, it's a great system, and it's just a nice machine. So I want to get back to my travel speed real quick. I just hit the one button. That's kind of my cheat to get there real quick. So say for instance I'm there, I hit the travel speed, I'm there quick. So that's pretty well for the dash. This one here is just your emergency lights, or your hazard lights. So people will ask me what this thing is. Now, looking through the viewfinder here, sometimes you'll see it blink. See, it's blinking there now, right? When I'm looking at it without the camera, it's not blinking. It's just a digital setup of it. Now I get the camera closer, I don't see it's blinking there now. So basically what that is that's an inclinometer. It's a digital inclinometer. And what is an inclinometer? It just tells you the incline the tractor is on. So you can set the parameters of where this tractor is about to tip over, and that alarm will go off to let you know when you're just about to reach that threshold. So I'm just going to loosen it up here, and I'm going to see if I can get it to beep. Let's see. So you can see the arrows are pointing ahead, so the tractor would be on an incline that's getting close to the danger point. And it's, of course, the same thing if you go sideways, but the way the mount is set up, I can't get it to do it, so, well, with two hands, with one hand anyway. So yeah, so that's basically what that is. My thoughts on inclimeters is they're a gadget. I think you'll know about the skid marks in your pants when you're getting too close to tipping over. You will, your heart will race over, you'll start to sweat, and you'll be pure terror. You don't need that alarm. But I got it just for the sake of having it there. Hey, it's all a bit of fun. This here is a cup holder that I designed and built and put there. Because when I was doing commercial snow clearing, I'd be out pretty well all night long, and I would put my coffee mug here, and boy, it worked really well. Now there's a little tie wrap on that because sometimes you'll see these wires here. That's for the microphone for the cameras. You can see the microphone here when I'm doing video for you guys with the in-cab cameras, and that's what I use for the microphone. Right here, the FEL. This is what operates the front loader. So when I pull back on this, okay, when I move it one way or the other, if I move it that way, it tilts. If I move it this way, it tilts back. Like that. The faster I put this down, the faster that drops. The slower I put this down, see if I can, the slower it drops. So it's all hydraulic, as you know, so it works pretty well. Now, this one has another feature on it. It has a button here. Put that button on, and it lights up. There's two more switches here on this FEL control lever. And what that does when you push this on here, just watch. Let me put it up this way so you can see it a bit better. Let's see here now if I can get it, both of it in the screen. So when you push it the other way, it moves the other way. So that's how I do my angling. Like that. And when it's not in use, I can just turn off the switch. Like that. Downstairs, down in the basement here, you got two pedals. Let me see. I'm going to move this one over. This one here, by the way, that's your tilt steering. So you have to push down on that and pull it back. This is the horn button. Down there, you're going to see two pedals right there and there. That's for your brake. There's a bar joining the two of them together. Brake is off now. You don't need to use the brake in this tractor because it's HST. So you'll say to yourself, well, if you don't need to use the brake, why do you have a brake? Well, if you're pulling an implement like a plow behind you, you can actually move this bar clear of the back of these pedals, and you can use each brake independently. So if you're out in the field and you're digging deep with your plow, you can use your throttle here to keep her going, and you can use each individual brake to steer it. You don't even need your steering because all you're doing is you're going to stop one wheel and it'll cause the tractor to shift over to the other side a little bit. You can keep adjusting your steering that way. It kind of gets a little ticklish with this situation because this is the pedal. Pieman asked me, he said, well, how do you get it to move? Well, to show you how it moves, when you push back on this, the more you push back on it, the faster it'll go. Then you want to go ahead, you push it ahead. Take your foot out of it, it stops. Usually what you just keep your foot on it that way and you rock it back and forth. So that's why you don't see me doing a lot when I'm doing the inside videos, because my foot is actually doing most of the work. Like that. Now, there's another feature on this tractor that makes this tractor really, really unique. And that's called auto throttle. So here's the auto throttle. I'm going to turn it off. Now when I go to put my foot on the pedal to back up, that's it. Nothing really happens on the fact that it moves a little bit. The RPM don't pick up, okay? Well, when you turn on the auto throttle, now when you go to back up, the more you put your foot down here on this pedal, the faster the engine RPM will go. And you'll see an example of that right now. Same thing on ahead. Now, if you never had auto throttle, such as now, the only way to really keep your RPM up would be to throttle up the engine. So remain like that all the time. Okay. But by using the auto throttle, you're saving major amounts of fuel, because you're only asking for more power when you need more power. And that's what auto throttle does. So that's that part of it. So let's set the handbrake again. Okay, handbrake's on, because we have that. Now, this other little box that's here, what is that? Well, that's your four-wheel drive. Your four-wheel drive is right here. That's your lever. When I pull up on that lever, the four-wheel drive light goes out. That's actually out of some kind of a Dodge product that I put there. Why did I put it there? Because I know you can look down at the lever, and if the lever is right on the floor, it's in four-wheel drive. Like that. Okay? The problem is like in your SUVs or anything with a four-wheel drive, if it goes in four-wheel drive, it gives you some kind of an indication in the dash. Well, Kubota didn't see the need for that, so you never had a light in the dash, so there was no way of really telling if it was in four-wheel drive. Now I know just at the glimpse of looking at that display that it's in four-wheel drive. So that's why that's there. That's just one of my many mods. Down beside that four-wheel drive lever, hang on, I'll move this now. You're going to see the lever. You see that lever? Well, what you do with that lever is you put your heel on it. Hang on. I put a blanket there, see, to catch the water from the snow. So you see my heel there on that lever? Okay, well what it is when these things are in four-wheel drive, they're really not in four-wheel drive. You can't have something like this in full-time four-wheel drive. If you have your two wheels in four-wheel drive up in the front and your two wheels in the back locked in four-wheel drive, you can't steer it. Because when you take a turn, say if I'm taking a left turn, the inside wheels of the left turn are turning slower than the outside wheels. If they were all turned equally, you would never be able to take a turn. So that causes a little bit of a problem. Say for instance I'm stuck. I back into a snowbank or down over a hill and I get stuck. And lots of times you'll look out there and you'll see, I only got one back wheel spinning. What you do is you momentarily put your foot on that lever and stand on it. That locks in the other wheel. So now you have the two rear wheels powered up, and you'll most likely back out and not have any problems getting out. But it's only a momentary thing, you know. It's just something that you use to get you out of the jam. Then you let it go, and that other wheel freewheels again. And that's what that's for. I hope this is not too complicated. Now, let's move back here. I'm going to move this up here. Right here, there's a lever. This lever here, that's for your cruise control. So say you're traveling down a road, you don't want to keep your foot on that pedal all the time. You can adjust the lever and it will maintain the same speed. And it's kind of nice if you're on a long enough drive that you'll let that look after the throttle and just enjoy your ride. Yes, folks, it has a clutch. Why it has a clutch, I really don't know. But the new 60 series don't have a clutch in them. But you have to use this clutch in order to start the machine. So I'm going to turn it off. So now I'm going to show you what happens. That's the stereo cycle in it. I'm going to show you what happens when I try to start it without pushing in the clutch. It's telling me I need to depress the clutch. So I depress the clutch and it starts. Now, it actually do have a clutch, and there's another little thing that you're going to see down there. You see that little hook? The little hook right there. When you're storing these things for a long time, you should put your clutch in, and that hook comes up and keeps that pedal down. And the reason why it does that is so that your clutch plates don't stick, okay, to your flywheel. So it keeps the clutch plates away from the flywheel. So it's not something a lot of people use all the time, but it's there. You're going to see some switches here. These switches are for lights that I have on the tractor. This one here with the silver on it, the chrome on it, that's for a backup alarm. So the backup alarm is off now. Hang on, I'll take off my brake. Backup alarm is off now when I turn it on. And the reason why that's there is because when I was using this tractor commercially, especially in parking lots, I would be using that. That way if somebody's backing up their vehicle, they'll know I'm around them. Because these tractors are pretty quiet. They're a nice smooth running tractor and they're not very noisy. So if a fella gets in his car, he's got to hear it. He's got to know you're there. Okay, we'll set the park brake again. Now, let's move back. Back here, we have levers. What does the lever do? When I pull this back, the further back I pull this, the higher up the snowblower goes. Okay? That's our maximum height there. What's these two levers? Well, one operates the rotation of the chute, one operates the deflection of the chute. So I'm going to move this one here now. And it's hydraulic. Now I'm going to move this one right here. So that's how that works. So usually when I travel with it on 5, you don't really need it that high off the ground. And if you want to keep it set at a certain height when you drop it, well then you adjust this lever here, and you can move this lever over here, or however height you want it when you drop it, and that'll maintain the height down there. It's not used for snow blowers, but if you were plowing a field and you wanted your plow at a certain depth, well that's when you would use this particular feature. Now I got to try to move that back. Hang on, folks. Okay. Now, put her back down. This here, This here is your PTO. The PTO is the power takeoff. That's the shaft that goes in under the tractor and joins up down here. So I'm going to turn it on. You can see it was just starting to turn because that's an outer case, a protecting case, a safety case, so you don't get caught up in the PTO shaft. Never run a tractor without a PTO shaft cover on your drive shaft or your PTO shaft. You can get entangled in it and it can kill you. So right now, that is actually turned the auger and everything back there. Now what I like about this particular switch is, say for instance you had an emergency, all you have to do is just give it a smack and it'll automatically cut off. So it's a fast way of disabling the PTO. Up here is a remote for my stereo, and that's all hooked up with a RAM mount, and it's magnetic. I don't use that much. There's a siren system here and a PA system, because a few years ago I rented the tractor out to a good friend of mine who had a very, very special job, and one of the requirements of the job was that he had to have a PA system in the machine. So this has a PA system and of course the siren and whatever, so it's kind of cool. I never took it out after it came back, and he paid to have it put in. He paid for the whole unit, so it's just another thing that, well, I'll leave it there because one of those days he might need the tractor again. What else? The seat that I'm on. Okay, hang on. The seat that I'm on is a Garmin ear ride seat. Seat belt. It has adjustments for your armrests. It has the headrest that goes up and down, and it has a button down there for the compressor. If you look, there's a mark there, and when it's in the yellow, it's good. When it's in the red, it needs more air put in it. You apply air by taking it out or by pushing it in. There's also other adjustments for lumbar and whatever. There's a pile of other stuff there. So I think that's it. I think I just about got it all covered. Just trying to remember. Okay, hang on now. Back up here, there's a big screen there. That's her air filter, or cabin air filter. Suction cup coming off there. Cabin air filter. You can take in outside air from it, but it'll be filtered so the dust won't come in with it. It's another great feature. It has rear defrost on all three windows, and I really don't use defrost. If anybody's having problems with these cab tractors steaming up in the winter, there's an old trick that you can use, and the old trick is very simple to use. If you want to prevent the windows from steaming up, you turn on your AC and leave your AC on, and that dries out the air, and you won't have any more issues with condensation getting on the windows. So I think that's it. Pretty sure that's it. Yeah, that's it. There you have it, folks. And Mr. Pieman, you got your question answered. And it should be able to give you an idea now the next time you're watching me in a tractor. Or you probably won't see me much in it anymore because it seems like I lost the tractor to Kathy.
It sure looks that way.
You've enjoyed it though, eh?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah,
it's
so
incredible.
we got to get some more seat time in for Kathy. But anyway, yeah, I hope that makes... And of course, other people with other tractors, especially other brands, you'll see the advantage of owning a Kubota. That HST transmission, folks, I'm going to tell you, that's the best invention since the wheel. Like, I'm a big fan of that system. It's a great transmission. And it's got... The tractor is chock right full of nice features. And the 60 series even has them a little more advanced. Okay? So, just thought you'd find that interesting. But for me, I love the 40 series Kubota. I haven't had much seat time in the 60 series. We have a couple that do come here for service, But you know, when you're servicing them, you don't have a chance to use them. So you know, I stick with what I know. That's my comfort zone. And of course, the tractor only has 300 hours on it, so we're not going to discuss new tractors at this point, are we?
No, we definitely are not.
hey, boss lady. No. Again, I hope this addressed some of the questions. Now, when you guys watch us operating the tractor, you'll know how I'm backing it up, or Kathy's backing up. You'll know how we're dropping the blade or backing the blade. You'll know how we're using the snow blower. You know what rotates to shoot. You know how the brakes work. You know how the four-wheel drive work. You know the high and low range. You know the HST up high and low, and
Yeah.
you know stall guard. You know what stall guard is now. You know where the cruise control is on it. There's everything. Eh?
Wow.
So yeah, it might be a good video for you to watch.
Maybe. Hint, hint.
It, yeah. So folks, I hope you enjoyed it. You guys take care. Have a great day. Don't text and drive. Don't fill handicap zones unless you're permitted to do so. And look after yourselves, and we'll see you next video. God bless.